All that rain from the weekend has left the Sacramento River and the other rivers in our area running very high. Not only that, it's extremely dangerous because the weather brings with it some pretty heavy debris, like that big log that's floating through here. Looks like a tree fell over and is now floating down the river. But that's why they're opening the Sacramento Weir, to allow the water to flow out of here and prevent flooding. This is the water flowing out of the Sacramento Weir with the gates closed. There's so much water in the river right now, in the Sacramento River, that it is starting to flow, and it is making its way into the Yolo bypass here, which is already pretty wet. And because it hasn't happened in 11 years, since January of 2006, we're also getting quite a few people who've come out to see the show when the Sacramento Weir gates do finally open. And as you can see, that water is flowing pretty heavily, even though the gates are not yet open. Seems to be a lot more of it at the south end than at the north end. But ultimately, all rolls out here into the Yolo bypass. That water in the Sacramento River is just right up to the point where it's near the top of those Weir gates and is slowly flowing through the closed gates. Be a lot more coming out when those gates are opened. It's really amazing when you think about all the pressure that's not only being held back by those little wooden slats, but that forces the water through the spaces in between them just to get that much water out into the Yolo bypass. Just after 6 o'clock now, sun is set. In fact, you can hardly see the weirs in the water, but you can certainly hear them. Department of Water Resources does not know yet when they will be able to open the gates. The benchmark is just shy of 30 feet. They're not quite there yet, but they're keeping an eye on it. The one difference between now and the last time I was here is that now the water is spilling over the top of the gate, so the river level continues to rise. And that's the thing. It's not just that it reaches 30 feet. It has to be 30 feet and rising for them to open the gates. DWR also tells me once they open those gates, they will stay open for several days. We'll keep an eye on it, and of course you can get the latest updates on the Sacramento Weir, the water situation in the rivers, and the weather at News Radio KFBK 93.1 FM, 1530 AM, streaming live on your free iHeartRadio app and at KFBK.com.